Hey everyone, it's Angie Coley, and over the last few videos together, we've talked a lot about the anxiety that happens before, during, frankly, all during the journey to becoming an entrepreneur, and how you have to be the one to take care of yourself and make sure that you've got your head on straight, you've got your inner game going for you, because if you're falling apart, then your company is going to really have a hard time flourishing. So, we've talked a little bit about recognizing anxiety spirals, short circuiting them. We've talked about how to be your own cheerleader and develop a kudos file. And today I want to talk about something I like to call retrain your brain, because I have never encountered a more creative period than when I am in the throes, the grips of pure panic. That is when my brain is coming up with all kinds of crazy worst case scenarios that are never actually going to happen. But it just can't seem to help itself. It's really got to catastrophize. It's really got to say that this is going to be the end of the world. True story. I once connected advertising my company, putting myself out there and telling people I was open for business, to nuclear winter. And I had a whole sequence of steps where, I wrote a letter and I said, hey, I'm a copywriter and I help people make more sales with their business with my writing. If you want to contact me, blah, blah, blah. And then I send this out to local business owners, and one guy gets it and he's already having a bad morning. And as soon as he opens my letter, he looks at this and he's like, who the hell does this chick think she is? And he slams it and he goes out to his car and he's driving all angry and he sideswipes a bus and there's a great big accident and little Timmy is hurt, and people from the hospital call little Timmy's dad, who happens to work at Lockheed Martin, the Moffett Center. I used to live in Northern California at the time, and that was the local NASA military base, Moffett Field. And it was the hospital calls little Timmy's dad, who is the pusher of the red button at Moffett, and in despair, Timmy's dad throws up his hands. Oh no, my son is in critical condition, and bam, nuclear winter. I went there. And it's kind of good news that I went there, because right after I got back from I dared to open a business and the entire world literally ended in smoke and flames and fiery death, I realized how ridiculous I was being. You think, a lot of people laugh when I tell that story, but that was one of the first times where I realized that sometimes I just need to follow the brain. I need to see how ridiculous this anxiety can get. And then I have the freedom and the mental space to look back at myself and go, you're being ridiculous, right? So that is my trick. And I want to encourage you to use it and get as creative as your brain wants to take you. Wallow in the fact that starting your business is going to be the end of life on earth as we know it. Really get into a good story and hold court with people that will listen about how, you're going to be homeless and destitute, living under a bridge surrounded by feral cats. Just go crazy with it, and then give yourself the freedom to laugh at yourself for going there, because I promise it's really cathartic. It can really help you get unstuck and start moving again, especially when you are spiraling and cycling around the same sets of worries and thoughts and fears and your brain just can't let go of it. Go ridiculous. I promise you'll break free pretty soon. And related to that, once you've learned how to kind of take it too far so that you can bring it back to reality, I like to practice thinking the opposite, right? Because I remember when I first left my job and started my thing, and my habit was basically things stay the same the way they are, or death. I always took it to those extremes. If my choices here are to stay at this job and be miserable and everything continues to be the same, or I leave and everything goes to hell. And you have to realize that the spectrum is a little bit broader than that, right? It's not here in the middle and then off to the land of horrors. It's here's where I am right now. I could choose a path forward that will wind me up here, where maybe I do better than I thought I would. And I'm really, really happy. And I'm also kind of upset at myself that I didn't make this choice sooner. Or the pendulum could swing this way with, well, that didn't really work out the way I wanted to, but I am smart and resourceful and I can figure it out. And to be perfectly blunt here, you are going to figure out a solution well before it comes to you losing everything and living under a bridge and starving to death. So that's why I say that your choices aren't stay here or die. It's stay here or make a choice that winds up better than you expected, or maybe not as good as you expected, and then you pivot from there. It's all data. That's not to say it's all fun data, but yeah, it's a journey, it's a risk, and everything that is worth having is worth taking the risk for, I think. You know, everything that you really, really wanted, that you're dreaming of, your biggest, boldest dreams are on the other side of fear. So you have to be able to embrace stepping into the unknown, letting something happen, and trusting yourself to figure out what happens next. So my challenge to you, if you have a brain like mine, and you are either swinging that pendulum too far to the worst case scenario, or you can't stop spiraling, is to, one, try taking it way too far. See if you can blow up the world with starting your business. See if you can connect it every step of the way. You might actually have fun imagining that the audacity of being an entrepreneur is going to destroy everything. Let's have fun. You're now a supervillain. Happy Monday. And then for every negative thought that you have, I'm going to run out of savings. Practice thinking two positive or at least neutral thoughts to balance it out. That way you can start to retrain your brain that when those negative thoughts pop up, it's not actually reality. That's not exactly the truth. So I'm going to run out of my savings and it's going to be hard to look for work. Well, I've got a network I can tap into to get jobs, and I've got a savings account that is set up for a case like this. This is exactly what I'm using my savings account for. And if that runs out, I've got, I'm using my personal example. I've got a credit line I could tap into. I could go talk to the bank. I could get a personal loan. I think I'll be all right until I figure it out. It's not going to be dire straits. And I realize that, that's an example where not everybody has the access to resources. And that has been a long growth journey for me because I haven't always been very smart about my finances. Thankfully, I am working on getting my shit together. And I highly advise looking at your finances, making sure that you've got what I like to call an FU fund. And that is savings, not for a rainy day, but that give you the freedom to walk away from any client or any project that's not serving you, so that you can still make your bills, but you don't have to be miserable, stuck in a time suck, stuck where your brain is just like, you're unhappy, you feel disrespected, you feel miserable. That's what that FU fund is. Highly advised. It is power. It is power and freedom and peace of mind. So that's what I've got for you today. Take it way too far. That's how you'll know how to bring it back. Practice thinking positive thoughts for every negative one that pops into your head. You'll be surprised how quickly this will start to become habit. And let's go kick all kinds of ass this Monday.